For the first time in modern history, China has openly acknowledged that it launched a ballistic missile from one of its nuclear submarines directly into the Pacific Ocean. This was not a routine exercise, it was a message. And the world is watching. On July 6, 2026, at 12:01 p.m. Beijing time, a Chinese Navy strategic nuclear submarine successfully launched a ballistic missile carrying a mock warhead toward a designated area of the Pacific Ocean. The Chinese military described this as part of its routine annual exercise and claimed it had notified the relevant countries in advance. However, independent military analysts tracked the missile's trajectory, strongly suspected to be a JL-2 or JL-3, traveling from the South China Sea, passing north of Luzon Island in the Philippines, before splashing down in the waters between Nauru and Tonga. This is not China's first test in the Pacific. In September 2024, they launched a DF-31B intercontinental ballistic missile from Hainan Island, the first Pacific ICBM test in 44 years. But this time is different. The missile launched came from a submarine. This means China has just demonstrated a complete nuclear triad capability, the ability to carry out a retaliatory strike from land, air, and deep at sea. This is the most difficult element for a nuclear state to build, a submarine that can hide in the deep ocean and then launch a missile with a range of thousands of kilometers without being detected beforehand. This is not China's first test in the Pacific. In September 2024, they launched a DF-31B intercontinental ballistic missile from Hainan Island, the first Pacific ICBM test in 44 years. But this time is different. The missile launched came from a submarine. This means China has just demonstrated a complete nuclear triad capability, the ability to carry out a retaliatory strike from land, air, and deep at sea. This is the most difficult element for a nuclear state to build, a submarine that can hide in the deep ocean and then launch a missile with a range of thousands of kilometers without being detected beforehand. Pay attention to the timing. This test took place on the very day the annual Joint Sea 2026 joint military exercise between China and Russia opened in Qingdao, one day before the NATO Summit began in Ankara, Turkey, and at the same time as the signing of a new defense pact between Australia and Fiji, committing both countries to assist each other if either one is attacked. For major events in a single day. A coincidence? Many defense analysts doubt it. The reactions came swiftly and sharply. The United States, through a spokesperson for the State Department, called this evidence of non-transparent nuclear proliferation. Taiwan described it as an attempt to intimidate the international community. Australia called it a destabilizing act for the region. New Zealand questioned whether the missile had landed within the South Pacific nuclear-free zone. Japan lodged a formal protest because the missile's impact area was close to its exclusive economic zone. China itself, through a spokesperson for the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, remained unfazed, stating that the test complied with international law and was not directed at any country. According to Pentagon reports, China's nuclear warhead stockpile is estimated to have surpassed 600 warheads since 2024 and is projected to exceed 1,000 warheads by 2030. China operates at least 6 Type 094 class nuclear submarines and is developing a newer generation, the Type 096, which is quieter and more difficult to track.
当年拖拉机下海的094型，到今天悄无声息的096型，中国用自己的方式，沉默之下藏着的是任何人都不敢轻视的国家意志。随着096型的逐步成军，你觉得未来
February 2026, with no replacement in place, and China has never been part of any nuclear weapons limitation framework.
停服前提，因为噪音太大，在水里跑起来就跟拖拉机下海差不多，人家美军声呐老远就能听见，这直接让094型的战略威。
For defense planners in the region, the message is clear. China has now fully validated its nuclear command chain, from launch orders, underwater ejection, to intercontinental flight and impact in the open ocean, using submarine platforms under near realistic conditions. With submarines becoming increasingly stealthy, such tests have the potential to become more frequent in the future, and that is precisely what some analysts fear: the normalization of this kind of show of force in an already tense region. One missile test, 4 continents reacted, and one shared message: the global nuclear balance of power is shifting. The question now is this just a temporary display of strength, or the beginning of a new chapter in the arms race in the Pacific? Stay tuned for our in-depth analysis in the next videos.